So even if your project list is endless, it's really important not to only work all the time. Hi, I'm Nika Waters, and welcome to the Boat Galley podcast. Today I'm talking about the importance of balancing work and play. Because after all, we're working so that we can get out to go play. Today's episode of the Boat Galley podcast is sponsored by Yugo. Yugo is the only waterproof floating phone case using dry suit zipper technology. Invest in your safety, because if you don't protect, you can't connect. Your phone is fully functional, and there's plenty of room for your keys, cash, and cards. To get the only dry bag on the market with zero phone fails, visit www.yugowear.com. That's UGOWEAR.com. Yugo. Prepare for adventure. It's really easy to get stuck in the work mode. We certainly had this when we were working on the house in Vermont. Basically, it had been 3 years since we took any kind of a break. We've been going up to the lake forever. I've been going up for my entire life. And my routine in the summer is generally, you get up there, you find your favorite spot with a book, you maybe take a towel out, read a lot, go for swims when you feel like it, play tennis if you want, just kind of chill. But for the last 3 years, since my Aunt Sue died right before we went up to the lake for our annual 2 weeks, it's just been nonstop work. That first year, we were really busy ripping out old carpet and trying to get things ready so that we could leave it for the season. We had a lot of smoke-filled furniture that we needed to get rid of, and it was just work. The next year, 2019, we were tackling an awful lot of deferred maintenance that had not been done on the house for a long time. So that was work. I don't think that either one of us did more than maybe take a swim once or twice. I know Jeremy didn't get out on a boat, and we certainly didn't take a hike. This season, in 2020, we still had lots and lots of work to do, but we did a much better job of balancing. There were a couple of weekends where on a Saturday morning, we got up and we did some work on the house so that in the afternoon we could go explore and go for a hike, or decide we were going to take the kayaks out and go looking for the flock of geese that we had seen land, and for some reason we never found them. And the same is true, honestly, as we're working on the boat. We're back down in Virginia, working like fiends to get the boat ready to go. And it will be more important than ever to make sure that we take a pause to try to play a little bit. And on one small level, we have our Friday night crab cake routine, which doesn't sound like a whole lot, but when we've been working all week and we get 3 days a weekend to work on the boat nonstop, sometimes just treating ourselves to a crab cake dinner. And yes, what happens is I go to the local seafood market and I pick up their homemade crab cakes and I bring them home and I cook them and we have them with a bottle of bubbly. But that's a little bit of a play. As we are looking at the amount of stuff that we have to put back on the boat, we're trying to think of some good toys that we have that will allow us to play. We're looking forward to going for a couple of drives and exploring this general area before we get the boat back in the water. What I mean to say is that if all you do is work, it's super easy to lose track of why it is that you're working that hard. And I had a podcast not too long ago that talked about the importance of reminding yourself of why you're working that hard. But I think that if you can find a fine balance, and what we found at the house this summer, the idea of working for a few hours and then playing for a few hours, that's more the balance that we remember from our life afloat. That, yeah, there's something that has to be done on the boat or to the boat on a very regular basis. It might not be every single day, although there probably is something small that you could do every single day. But the importance being not to just only work. It's also important really not to just play, because if all you do is play, then you're going to have days that you have to do only nonstop work. to get yourself back to some semblance of a balance. And that's because boats are a harsh environment. When you're living on your boat and moving around and cruising, it is hard on gear and hard on your everything to do with the boat. So keeping track of small maintenance items can stop them from ballooning into something a whole lot bigger. If you hear a little squeak, it's probably better to track that down and oil it before it blows up a belt or something. The idea of balancing work and play to me is actually one of the things that I love about the cruising life. There is lots of time for play, and by play I mean just enjoyment of the world. You can stop and sit in the cockpit and watch the sunset every night. If somebody comes by in a dinghy and waves, there's generally time for a conversation. There's also time to polish the stainless or paint the hull or look for that little bit of rigging that you want to tune just a little bit better. Taking the time to balance out both of the needs of enjoyment and maintenance, and sometimes maintenance is enjoyment. But if you take the time to balance them both, you'll be able to enjoy yourself a whole lot more. I can't wait to share an anchorage with you on one of our enjoyment times, or maybe it'll be time that we're helping each other out with some kind of a boat project or another. Thank you so much for listening to the Boat Galley podcast. We love it when we hear from our listeners. We love it when you leave us a 5-star review, and we particularly love it when you share us with your friends. Have a great week.